Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel for another flea market finds episode, and this is not quite a flea market find, but this is another machinist tool pick. This is from Rhode Island. This is actually a pick that came to me. I was the owner of these tools reached out to me actually about a couple of years ago and alerted me to he had a friend who had passed away, and the widow was looking to get rid of some of his tools. I ended up going out there and buying quite a bit of tools out of that estate, including some old toolboxes. And this gentleman had told me that he still had his tools from when he had retired from the trade, but that he wasn't ready to part with them. And he recently reached out to me and said, hey, if you're still buying tools, I'd like to have you come down and take a look at what I've got. So I ended up going down there and buying this stuff, which is basically everything in this box. There's a couple items here on the side and another box, and we're going to blow through that in this episode. And let's start right off the bat with this nice steel square. Maybe not so nice. It is so badly rusted that I cannot see any maker's name on it, so this is a complete guess as to what this might be. So let's take a minute and clean this up. So I just hit this with a wire wheel in this area here on both sides, and in this area here on both sides, because most of these squares, if they are marked with a maker's name or anything, it's usually right in this area here on the bar, or this area here on the blade. I don't see anything. It's quite possible that this is just so pitted that it's still obscured, but I actually think this might be unmarked. I'm sure I didn't give very much for this at all in the condition it's in. Here's a nice little set of Fowler small hole gauges. 4-piece set, 125 to 500 thousandths, made in Japan. So that could be NSK, hard to say. Here's a really early pouch. It looks like a coin purse from back in the day, but it's actually a very early old 829A hole gauge set. So I don't know what the deal is with this pouch. I've never seen a pouch like this. It's a box for a federal indicator, and this has a nice little federal thickness gauge in it. This Chuck, he actually had this advertised separately, but when I went there, he still hadn't had any takers on this. So this is a number 59B Jacobs headstock chuck. So this is actually supposed to thread onto the spindle of an older lathe. Not quite sure what lathe this may have fit, but he actually made a note on here that it's 1 3/4 inch by 8 TPI threads per inch. This little pouch is actually just for one Mitutoyo hole gauge, 125 thousandths to 200 thousandths range. But what's in here, oddly enough, is but these are actually all the A-sized gauges, so they're all identical. So 3 identical gauges in one pouch for some reason. Here's another Mitutoyo case. Feels like a micrometer. And it is. It's just a nice, oh, that's a nice micrometer. It's got the needle points there. It's actually in pretty nice shape. Here we go. This looks like it might be a Starrett. Oh, actually, this is a Craftsman branded blade. And I can't find any maker's name anywhere on the protractor head, so I think this might be a Craftsman head also. And there is a center head that is missing the part that actually holds it on. Oh, wait a minute. Here's another center head. Does this match? This looks quite a bit older. Here's an illuminated toggle switch from Radio Shack. Oh, here's a nice little vice stop. This will just clamp onto your top of your jaw on your milling machine vise and give you a nice little stop. Here's a nice little jig that he made. This guy did a lot of precision grinding at work. So he had told me that a lot of these things he had made for work. So this is a nice block. It's not a 1, 2, 3, that's for sure. It's more like a, let's see. Looks like it's a 1.5 by 2.5 by 4 inch. Threaded holes. And then it has this almost like a V-block deal attached to it. That's interesting. Here's another little setup block he made. And yet another. Little fence on that one. Here's a nice, this is made in Germany. It says Jordan, Germany. Combination square. Not familiar with that particular manufacturer. It's a little bit smaller than the like the typical 12-inch ones. This is a 9-inch blade. Oh, here's a nice pair of V-blocks. By the looks of it, these are Brown & Sharp 749s, and they are. Not sure if the clamps are in here or not. What do we got here? Clamp attachment. Oh, that's different. What the heck is that? It's a Brown & Sharp clamp attachment. Like I've ever seen one of these before. This says Brown & Sharp Manufacturing Company, number 734. So this is a attachment for an indicator? Oh, okay. I know what this is now. Alright, so I think what this is supposed to be is this is supposed to go on to the stem here of a dial indicator, one that doesn't have travel as much as this one. So this would slide on here and clamp onto this, and then this comes in contact with the piston down in there, and that gives you the ability to now make a measurement at a 90-degree angle to the original axis. But I can't get it to go on to here. But then I found in this catalog 36M, Brown & Sharp 1958, 3rd edition. I did find under the accessories, found this right here, the 7804 and the 7805. So I think those are the relatively newer part numbers for the this. What the heck was this? A 734B. And down here it explains that the difference between the 7804 and 7805 are the size of the indicator stem that you would use this on. So one is for 0.275 and one is for 0.375. So this must be the one for the 0.275, which I don't have any Brown & Sharp indicators that size. So interesting. As far as value on this, who knows? There are 2 of them for sale on eBay right now. The sellers are asking $55 for best offer. Both of the sellers are asking the same amount. But there are no previous sales that I could find to go by, so it is a mystery. This little device here is called a micro mic. Mic spelled M-I-K-E. And what it is it's a little pocket, almost like a little pocket microscope. And I can't, unfortunately, I don't have the technology with my cameras to show you what I'm looking at inside here, but there's a little reticle line with graduations on it. And it says 1 division is 0.002 inches. So each division is 0.002. So obviously the distance that the object that you're measuring is from the objective lens in there would be critical. So that's why I think this is designed the way it is. It's actually got this shape to it. So the idea is you would place this down on the surface of what you're measuring. And then the fact that it's half open there lets enough light in so you can still see what you're looking at. So let's say I wanted to get a measurement of the diameter of that hole. I could just put this over like this and then line up the reticle lines and take a measurement. So that's a neat little doodad. Alright, a bunch of parallels in here. Let's see, I'll go through those in a second. Oh, good, here's the keeper for that other head. Oh, and that does match the this one here, so I believe that these two are both craftsmen for this blade. Here's another little doodad that he had made for grinding very small parts. And this, alright, this looks like it could easily be used with this block, so I wonder, yep, that's exactly what he's got going here. He had two different sizes of these plates. Well, I just sorted out these parallels, and we got several of them here that are just homemade ground parallels with like no markings on them, or just engraved by the owner's name. That's what's over here. These are curious because these are C.E. Johansson Ford Dearborn marked, which means these were Johansson gauge blocks, commonly referred to as Joe blocks, named after the inventor Carl Johansson. And then there's the famous story of how Henry Ford was so impressed with the precision of his gauge block sets that he approached Mr. Johansson and entered into a licensing agreement to become the distributor of Johansson gauge blocks here in the United States. Therefore, that's why you find so many of these with the Ford script on them, which makes them kind of neat. Unfortunately, I noticed that when I looked at this one, that is a very unattractive profile on the end there. So these, for whatever reason, were cut down. So I checked, and they are no longer exactly the same length, but they are the same height. So my theory is that somebody needed a pair of precision parallels and decided to turn these Joe blocks into parallels. Maybe they were damaged and they were repurposing them, I don't know. But I mean, it would be a shame to think that these came out of a set and were, somebody did that to them. All of these over here, these are all pairs. And what's nice about these is not all of them, but many of them are clearly marked that they're brown and sharp. I believe they're all brown and sharp 920s. So many of them are just marked at one end with the brown and sharp logo. Then they're clearly marked at the other end with the size. Somewhere here in the shop I have a small case, brown and sharp case that has a small set in it, and I think it's missing one of the sizes. So I might luck out and maybe one of these pairs right here is the size that's missing from that case, and maybe I can make a complete set after all. Here's another Fowler telescoping hole gauge set. This is the common 6-piece set you come across all the time in like Mitutoyo or Starrett or SPI or No Name Chinese. But this is a Fowler set, so it's a little bit nicer. It's got the satin chrome finish. They all move freely. And again, this is also marked made in Japan, which means that this could very well be NSK. So better quality than your Chinese imports. This is the only book I got from this gentleman, and he originally wasn't going to sell this book. This was actually I just happened to look over on a shelf and saw this with some other books. And I said, boy, I'd really be interested in having that because I do not have that volume. And this is the Tool Engineer's Handbook, 2nd edition, from the American Society of Tool and Manufacturing Engineers. I believe that is the ASME that you see on many things these days. So this is published by McGraw-Hill. And this is copyright 1959, but it also mentions copyright 1949. This reminds me of something I hear quite often, where tool and die makers used to not like to be referred to as machinists. Apparently they had a saying. They used to like to say that they were the men who made the tools that were used by machinists. So this would be probably like a Bible for those guys. It's thick like a Bible too. It's a great shape though, so I'm going to keep that probably in my private collection. All right, to make a little room and we'll grab box number 2. All right, let's see what other kind of goodies we have here. There's a nice big pair of parallels that he made. Here is a set of, I think these were called the Super Wii V blocks. So if you've never seen these before, what these are designed to be used for is for grinding very, very, very small parts on a surface grinder. This part right here will fit in a conventional V block. So this would be held in a conventional V block like so. Then that gives you this little tiny V block right here with the little tiny clamps. But then there were also these accessories, like these tiny jaws, V jaws, that could sit in here and give you even smaller V's to put tiny pins in. Just give you an idea how small that is. I don't think this is going to focus too well. So I already have a set that I'm keeping for myself, so I could sell these. Here's a nice pair of V-blocks. These are badged Fowler. I've come across these before in several other brands. They're unique in design because they have this type of a clamp that has these rounded ends that go in these type of slots. What this enables you to do is flip this block right up on its side and the clamp doesn't get in the way. So even though these are Fowler, the measurements on them are in metric, just like many of the other ones that I come across of this style. So these are clearly made overseas. Sometimes you find these and the clamps are missing, and it's unfortunate because these clamps are a little tougher to come by. Oftentimes you can find the clamps for sale on eBay, but sometimes it's as much as like $30 or $40 a pair for the clamps. Oh, another pair of 1-2-3 blocks, which is good because I just recently sold off a pair of 1-2-3 blocks. I'm getting low on those. This is a nice grinding V block. It's the model 745 Brown and Sharp, and Starrett makes their own version of this. I forget what the Starrett part number is, but this is a really versatile little block for use on the grinding surface grinder. So you can use it as a conventional V block this way, but then you can flip it up on its side and you can use this small V here, and this is not the clamp for that. Let's see if they have the clamp. So I might be missing a clamp for that. These are transfer blocks. So these are designed to actually transfer the magnetic field from the mag chuck on the surface grinder up to the part. So they're kind of like magnetic parallels. This box that they were in actually says Dual Chuck V-block set. Interesting. Here's another pair of these that he had, but these he had modified, or did he? Or were they like this? I don't remember. Anywho, get this deal going here. And then he had this nice pair of Brown and Sharp 750-2, and these are a matched pair. They both have the same, almost like serial number on them, 42. That's a nice set of blocks with the pair of original clamps. And here's another set of Brown and Sharps. These are 750A sized blocks, and I do believe these are the original clamps for this also. So this one he modified the block by grinding that slot in it, but it doesn't really affect the usefulness of the block. In here, got a nice precision vise. This has a number on it, 28/158. Not sure what that means. The box tends to indicate this might be an import. Got just a little bit of damage there with a grinding wheel touched off on it. Be able to give somebody a deal on that one. Another one of these. I just sold one of these recently. And I have one more still in the box, and then now I have this one. This one's a little different only because the scale is almost like in satin chrome. It's much easier to read. Maybe I'll keep this one. And then we've got this style here. I have come across this. This is Pen Tool or Travers, I think. Recognize these boxes. Yeah, so this is a VD60, which is the size they give to this particular vise in the series from, well, it just says SD-VD60 Taiwan V-grooved jaw toolmaker's vise. And it's got this long number on it. This might also be from the value line of MHC, I don't recall. It's got even a little Tommy bar here to give you a little leverage, tightening that down. Although that's a tapered pin. Huh. Interesting. And we got a nice little pair of magnetic transfer V-blocks. It's the same principle as these parallels, only these are V-blocks. Looks like we might have a maker's name on these. Huh, it says a US patent number on it. Interesting. Alright, so now I gotta look that up because I'm curious. Ah, so that patent number was assigned to John Fisher. So these are Fisher magnetic V-blocks, which is great. Means that they're better quality than an import. In fact, last pair of these to sell on eBay this size brought $58.95 plus shipping, used. So that's a nice find there. And he also, that same patent was also for his magnetic parallels. So now I'm beginning to wonder whether or not these might not be Fisher parallels. Unfortunately, no real way to tell. I'm thinking no, because the design looks different, so no such luck. These are marked 74 on the end. I wonder what that means. One of the first things I spotted that he had was this little guy here. This cute little grinding vise. Look at that thing. That's a sweet little guy. So, even though it's actually just a Chinese import, it actually says made in China right on this thing.
It's China to me.
1-inch toolmaker's vise. Never seen one that little.
That's what she said.
And it's got the original little box. Alright, and the last items are just a few things that I have wrapped up here, which I don't even remember what they are. Is a, looks like a wiggler. Missing parts. Oh, here we go. This is a box for 828 Wiggler center finder. Oops. So there we go. That's more than what these came with. So, and a nice little hole attachment. This you can clamp onto the stem of an indicator. Actually, this hole attachment is for the Starrett 196 back plunge indicator set. Oh, actually, I just looked. This is a Brown & Sharp 729A. So that's another part for an indicator I don't have. Yeah, I think this is a Fisher edge finder. No, this is a Brown & Sharp. And that's exactly what that is. It's a Brown & Sharp edge finder, 792. Here's a General. Generals are a little harder to spot because they only silk screened on the name on the side. Here's another one. And our last item is, let's see what it says. It says it's a number 143 carbon steel hardened and ground mandrel. Hey, that's what it is. Oh, that thing's like brand new. Cool. Cleforge or Cleveland Twist Drill, one of the two. Well, that's nice. All right, it's going to bring this episode to a close. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. It really helps me out. And share the video if you know people who are tool mongers or tool hoarders like you must be because you watch this video. And if you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Take care.